Morning, folks. Just moving some pigs this morning and figured y'all might like to hear me talk about a little bit what we do and the equipment and stuff that we have. So I'm going to start out with our spark. Now, some of y'all that do pigs might laugh at this because this is a pretty wimpy energizer, but this is a little, turn off some of that myself. Solar Intelligent Shock 60 from Premier One. It's got a little on-off button here. And I really like this for doing pigs. I'm getting, let's see. I'm getting a 6.2 right here. That's a pretty good spark. The pigs are definitely going to respect that. They're not going to get out running on a 6.2. And the reason that this tiny little energizer can do a 6.2 is I trimmed all the fences so there's no grass on it, and it's just this paddock. I'm not trying to charge all 16 of my pig paddocks, just the one. So I've been very happy with this. I haven't had any pigs getting out when I had the fence trimmed and all the jumpers and stuff on. The pigs respect this very well. Anyway, our water system is underground, just like our cow water system. Heidi and I laid this in a couple years back. I think it's just 1.25 inch black plastic pipe with a valve every other gate. So this valve services this paddock right here where the pigs are, and then when we move into this next paddock, we'll just put the water tank over the fence, and this valve will do that too. And then I have, I think it's 5/8 air hose plumbed with fittings that go onto garden hose size fittings. That comes out. Here we have a little homemade rebar pigtail post. It's got a step in at the bottom welded on there, so I can stomp it in. That keeps our air hose up out of the way so the pigs can't get at it because they'll chew it up. This is an 80-gallon pig waterer. I'm not sure who makes it, but we really like them. They work great for feeder pigs up to about 500 pounds, I think. And then at that point, the pigs' heads are too big to get in here to get water, so they don't work good for sows or anything. But they don't really sell a float that I've seen that's specifically designed for these, so we made up our own. It's just some fittings that come through the top, and it's not really even attached to the lid. The lid's just loose. It's just some brass fittings that go into the top of one of these. I think it's a Dare float. Super cheap float, but it gets the job done. That just screws in the top. So this is an 80-gallon reservoir, and then it has a little float inside that keeps about 1 inch or so in here, depending on how I adjust it. So they always have water. Pigs are very touchy about their water. They don't need very much water, but they get thirsty really fast and then just go crazy when they don't have water. So you got to make sure that you have something that can keep them supplied and so they don't ever run out. Let's go up here and take a look at our feeder. So this is pretty much just a standard pig feeder. We put 4x4 skids underneath it, and if you watch our pig move video, I'll stick the bucket underneath, and this will catch in the lip on the back of my bucket, and I'll be able to just lift it up and never have to get off the tractor. They're made so we can stick pallet forks under, but we don't have very many sets of pallet forks, so I don't get a pair over here at the farm, so I don't really need them. It holds about pretty close to a ton, maybe a little bit more of feed. And then obviously the pigs just lift up the little flappers. And there's a gap right here, and they can get feed down. Now, you won't see it. They get feed down right here. Now these feeders are very expensive and quite easy to damage. So if you're starting out, I would highly recommend going to Jordan Green's YouTube channel, Farm Builder, and checking out the IBC tote feeders that he has made. Jordan's an old Polyface apprentice, just like I am, and he's doing some pretty awesome things with pastured pigs. We actually bought these piglets from him. He's one of our biggest suppliers. So check out Jordan's pig feeders. I would definitely build one of those rather than getting more of these, but since we have them, we're going to keep using them. So let's go talk about our gates and then look at the tractor and buggy.
We're at 6.
So we use 2 strands of aluminum wire, pretty thick gauge. Not sure what gauge, might be 9 gauge aluminum wire. To fence in our permanent pig paddocks with rebar stakes and yellow insulators. And then they end with a gate post. You can see it through the gate here. And a white insulator knob. Yeah, I guess we can go to the other side. We just tie it off with a white insulator knob here to this gate post. And the reason is because pigs can't see very good. So they get used to that wire being here. And if you open the wire up, they won't know that you open it up, and they'll think that it's still there and they're going to get zapped if they go through. So we use wooden gates because when we open them, the pigs can see them really easily and they'll move to the next paddock. And that eliminates a lot of the frustration with pigs. They're very smart, but they're also not. And so you got to learn how to set up your system so that it's easy for a pig to understand. And so these wood gates really help with that. And we'll just run a little jumper wire from this side around to the front so that the spark can get around. Yeah, here's a good look at our yellow insulators that we use. I don't know, on my farm someday, I'm not sure I'm going to use a setup like this. I think I might go to 100% mobile pig paddocks and just use step-in stakes like I do with the cows and run poly braid wire. But this has worked really good for Polyface, and so that's what we're using for now. So we've got a lot of these Grainovator feed buggies. They're super handy. I think this one will hold 4 tons. So I usually put 3.5 tons of feed in it. The auger could go down each way. You can spin this around so you can fill both directions. This one is one of the double axle ones, which is awesome because it can carry more weight. And I put little extensions on the side so we can fill a little fuller. After I found out that they were made to carry way more feed than we were putting in them without the extensions, well, I might as well be able to order 3.5 tons at a time instead of just 2. So I added those extensions. That's really helped with the amount of pigs I've been running to be able to hold more in my feed cart. So it's just PTO driven, and there's gates over the augers. So if you pull this down, it'll open the gate up, and that'll let the feed out. Because we have 2 bins here, and we have to unload the back one first. Otherwise, when you unhook it, it'll stand up on end, which is not good. I've done that before. Anyway, so the back and the front each have a gate, so you can control which one unloads. And then we just pull it with our trusty T4040 New Holland. Nothing special about that. We've got a bunch of the 4030s and the TN75s and whatever. But it's just It's like 80 horsepower or something. Little 4-wheel drive tractor, and that's what gets the job done. So I guess the last thing would be my trimmer. I've got to keep these fences clean, so before I move the pigs in, like y'all probably saw in our pig move video, I'd take my trimmer and trim underneath it to get a good spark. I highly recommend getting the biggest trimmer that you can find with the handlebars, because you need to be able to really cut down some serious grass. This is a FS90, yeah, steel FS90, definitely not the biggest one out there, but it gets the job done. I wish it had a little more power, but it's been a really good trimmer for me. And then I always bring a spool of extra trimmer cord and mixed gas, because you don't want to run out halfway through trimming your pig paddock. Anyway, hope that helps y'all get started and get some more ideas. So thanks for watching.